All right, so I think I'm starting to understand what Janice meant when she said I'm uptight or I'm too tight. It's something that I've always had trouble with, especially as a manager. I was just very uptight. I'm very rigid. I tend to be rigid. I tend to see too much black and white, no in between. It's either yes or no. I'm like basically a like program code. It's sort of like A plus B equals C, and there's no other way around it. And with human interaction, it's a lot different than that. It's a lot of analog, right? So I don't know if you know analog and binary, right? Code binary or digital is like ones and zeros, right? That's basically what it is. It's black or white. And then with analog, there's lots of in between, right? So there's sounds, there's highs and there's lows, and there's noise and there's static. And what I'm trying to say with using this as an analogy is that as human beings, there is a lot of gray. There's a lot of problems, a lot of agreements, a lot of solutions where we agree with some things, and there's basically things are complicated. Like, if I were to bring up the idea of healthcare, right? Or public education, or voting rights, or taxes. I mean, this might, depending on who you are, this might kind of bring up a certain thought in your mind, like Obamacare, for example. I mean, some people get really heated about that and they have an opinion about that. I honestly, I understand where people are coming from, but to be totally honest, I don't fucking give a shit. Partly because it's just not my interest. Maybe it should be my interest. Some people will say that you should be interested because you should be interested in it because you're paying taxes on it and whatever. I'm not trying to have a political debate. I'm just simply using this as a way to sort of explain what I'm trying to explain human interaction and what it means to be so uptight. And the problem is that if you're uptight, you are not comfortable with yourself. That's sort of what it means. It's about being loose, being relaxed. And what I've noticed and what I know about people is that it's easy to, why people love training with trainers is because you help them change their physiology. You are able to change how they feel. And usually, under most circumstances, you make them feel better. You make them feel better, and then they like you. They have a very positive association with exercise, well, with you and how they feel. And that happens to be, and what brings you two together is exercise. People buy training from you. You make them feel good. And kind of what my issue is that I have trouble being relaxed. I have trouble being, I'm so uptight. I'm so bundled up. Sometimes in my head I have so many things that I want to do. This. And kind of one of the things that's helped me with Elliot Hulse is that Elliot Hulse has allowed me to kind of see things in more gray, to see things in understanding that you know what they're it's I want he doesn't say it's complicated, but he gives me a viewpoint that I can see that makes so much sense. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but I mean that there's how can I fucking put this? There's no right. It's about who you are and being better than who you are, being a better version of yourself. And when you talk about the way you need to fit into the world, is that the world is a you're trying to be a sprocket. They're trying to make you a sprocket into this machine to pay taxes, to be part of the education system. And if you want to play that game, it's totally okay. That's what makes it so cool. Because it's okay if that's what you want, go for it. But on the other hand, if you want something else, understand that it's the experience. I used to think people waste so much time doing things, and it's not so much wasting time. It's more like you're just doing things to do things because you enjoy them, like playing Magic, StarCraft, video games, going out clubs and partying, going to bars, watching movies, whatever it may be. And nothing wrong with any of these things. They're your choice. It is your purpose. It's what you want to do. But I like these things too. I like not going out to clubs, but I like playing games. I love Magic the Gathering. What I've kind of confined myself to, at least these last few months, last few weeks, I should say, really, is I've kind of purposely eliminated all the things that don't pull me in the direction of where I want to go. So, for example, there are very few pleasures I really that are purely just for pleasure, and like for example, watching Mad Men and my TV shows like Game of Thrones. Uh, Actually, Mad Men's probably really more of my own pleasure because Game of Thrones I watch with my wife and I get to spend time with my wife watching a TV show that we both love. So there's always a duality, some dual purpose. So, and every time I play like Minecraft and video games, I'm playing with my son. So there's a dual purpose. Uh, when I watch a YouTube video, there's always a dual purpose. I want to learn something to help me get better in training and help my training out from how I train myself. It also helps me interact with other people to help build my YouTube channel. So, so when it comes to like, for example, trying to watch a new TV show or watch a movie or do a certain activity like play Magic, if it doesn't help me forward in that direction, I don't do it, or I pretty much eliminate it or cut it out significantly. One thing I definitely have done is I've definitely kind of cut back on some of the things I listen to. I've decided to really just focus on listening to Elliot Hulse and basically books, because it helps me condition my mind to put me in the right frame of thought to get me to where, because I know it's these what you put in your head really affects you. And I never really believed this, the music, whatever it may be, gangster rap, this music is basically infectious. And if I mean, I listen to hardcore, I listen to some rock and some music, but I use it for working out. I don't use it for anything else, because it helps pump me up. But my point of saying this is that my point of saying all of this is that there is no, everything you do is going to move you in one direction. It's either going to move you towards your goal or away from your goal, or keep you right where you're at. And everything I do, I want it to move me where I want to go. And that is building my YouTube channel and building a brand for myself that extends beyond me. I want to be able to change your life. I want to change people's lives, because that's really important to me. I want to be able to affect as many people as possible, and I want to make it as a living. I mean, working one-on-one with people is great, but you just can't affect the same amount of people.